There is no denying that quarterback is the most important position on the football field. Without a proper field general, no team will have any chance of navigating a punishing 17-game schedule and a grueling 2 or 3 playoff schedule en route to hopefully winning the Super Bowl. A simple eye test can point out those quarterbacks who, based on ability or playing on poor teams, have absolutely no chance of winning a Super Bowl. With that in mind, let's examine 5 quarterbacks who will hoist the Lombardi Trophy within the next 10 years and 5 who won't. Will Sam Darnold, Seattle Seahawks. This one might be the easiest selection for our list. I mean, the Seahawks are the defending Super Bowl champions, so it's easy to see them having a great chance to repeat. Heck, before we even get to the quarterback position, Seattle has one of the deepest and most well-built teams in the NFL. Their defense is elite and will bring back essentially the same unit as last year. On the offensive side, they did lose running back Kenneth Walker III, but they still retained star wide receiver Jackson Smith-Njigba, which brings us now to quarterback Sam Darnold. The 28-year-old has seemed to discover the secret of being a successful quarterback, as he's really taken his game to a whole nother level in his first year with Seattle. In 2025, Darnold threw for over 4,000 yards with 25 touchdowns en route to earning his second Pro Bowl nomination. Since neither the passing yards nor touchdowns were career highs, it is certainly possible for Darnold to put together an even better season than last year, especially as he becomes more comfortable in head coach Mike Macdonald's system. A quarterback who has finally figured it out on a team loaded with talent. Oh yeah, Sam Darnold will win another Super Bowl. Won't? Tua Tagovailoa, Atlanta Falcons. Tua Tagovailoa was an easy choice here. He's just not a winning quarterback. As such, he will not win a Super Bowl as a starting QB in the NFL. Let's be honest, with his concussion history, there's a pretty good chance that he doesn't make it through the next season, let alone the next 10. Supporters of Tua will point to the fact that the quarterback has led the league in passing yards in 2023 and in completion percentage in 2024, but those stats are a bit misleading. One thing that we've seen over Tua's first 6 years in the league is that he's very good at completing screen passes and short slants. In fact, due to the speed of the Dolphins' receivers and backs, the coaches designed the playbook to fit Tua's strengths. One area where Tagovailoa has struggled with, though, was the deep ball. The Dolphins have decided to embark on a rebuild, in large part because they made a mistake drafting Tua in 2020. In fact, Miami decided it would be better to cut the QB and take on a $99 million cap hit. I mean, they did try to trade Tua, but no team wanted him. Eventually, he signed a free agent deal to compete with Michael Penix for the quarterback job with the Falcons. Yeah, so here's to betting that Tua is not the answer in Atlanta either. Will Jackson Dart, New York Giants. The Giants have been in a rebuild since 2017, with only 2 winning seasons in the last decade. Fortunately for the Giants, their rebuild got a major jump with the hiring of John Harbaugh as the new head coach. Harbaugh spent 18 years patrolling the Ravens sideline, winning 293 games and Super Bowl 47. And he'll bring a hard-edge approach that the Giants have been really lacking over the years. But this article is about quarterbacks and Super Bowls. So let's talk about Jackson Dart. Harbaugh inherits Dart, a 22-year-old quarterback who convinced the New York front office that he was the long-term answer under center. And you know, he might just be right. Dart impressed enough even without the benefit of throwing the ball to stud wide receiver Malik Neighbors. Once Neighbors returns to full strength, it'll be fun to see the numbers that he and the young quarterback put up. It won't be long until the New York Giants are once again hoisting the Lombardi Trophy, and Jackson Dart will be the one to lead them there. Won't? Dak Prescott, Dallas Cowboys. What exactly are the Dallas Cowboys? After 3 straight 12-win seasons, the Cowboys have followed that up with 2 straight 7-win seasons and questions as to whether or not a rebuild is in order. If everything were to break right for Dallas in 2026, starting receivers George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb both surpass 1,000 yards receiving. Javonte Williams rushes for 1,500 yards. The defense reverts to one of the league's top units, and quarterback Dak Prescott remains one of the league's best passers. With a 4-year, $240 million contract that'll keep him in Dallas through 2028, the Cowboys really hope Prescott just remains elite. For that to happen, the quarterback is gonna need to stay on the field. Prescott has been relatively reliable so far in his career, having started 139 of 165 games, but therein lies the trouble, as Prescott has missed significant time with injury in 2020, ankle fracture and dislocation. 2022, fractured thumb. In 2024, tore his hamstring off the bone. His injury history, along with his age, I mean, he's gonna turn 33 before the season even starts, suggests that further breakdowns are not just possible, but highly probable. There are just far too many questions surrounding wanting Prescott to think that he'll win a Super Bowl before he retires. And heck, we didn't even talk about his lack of postseason success. Will Drake May, New England Patriots. Drake May will win a Super Bowl. It's not a question of if, but when. He became the starter in New England as a rookie in 2024. The third overall pick of the 2024 draft struggled that first year, finishing with a 3-9 record, 15 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions. After May's first year, wondering how long the rebuild would last in New England was a very fair question. Then, the 2025 season took place, and Drake May took things to a whole nother level. The second-year quarterback exploded onto the scene, throwing for 4,394 yards with 31 touchdowns and only 8 interceptions. May led the Patriots to a 14-3 regular season record, winning an additional 3 more games in the playoffs before falling to the Seahawks in the Super Bowl. That was a pretty impressive run for any player, let alone a second-year one. The Patriots will have a harder schedule in 2026 than the previous year, but their team is stocked and talented. It'll be interesting to watch what May will do. As the Bills and Chiefs dynasties fade, the Patriots and Drake May appear to be poised to take their spot atop the NFL's elite. Won't Daniel Jones, Indianapolis Colts. If this was being written during the first half of the 2025 season, then Daniel Jones might not have been included. Based on the first 6 years of Jones's career, all spent with the Giants, one could reasonably expect him to have a nice career as a backup quarterback. However, in 2025, Jones began to change the narrative. In 13 games before suffering a ruptured Achilles tendon, Jones led the Colts to an 8-5 record, throwing for 3,101 yards passing and 19 touchdowns. And he was really beginning to show signs of why he was a former first-round draft choice. But here's the thing. I'm not sold on Daniel Jones. I mean, come on. Looking deeper at his numbers from 2025 just show a quarterback who, even before the injury, was beginning to show signs of reverting to past form. Prior to said injury, the Colts had lost 3 of the previous 4 games, and while they lost the last 5 games of 2025, there's no guarantee that a healthy Daniel Jones would have changed any of those outcomes. Jones signed a 2-year, $88 million extension that'll keep him in Indianapolis through 2027. But, you know, I think that's a bit of an overpay. Daniel Jones is not the one to take any team to the promised land, let alone the Colts. Will Brock Purdy, San Francisco 49ers. For some reason, Brock Purdy is a polarizing quarterback. Detractors will say that he can't stay healthy and was deserving of a 7th-round pick in the draft. In fact, those detractors love pointing out that Purdy was Mr. Irrelevant to the 2022 draft, the last player picked. Supporters of the quarterback think that the 49ers got a massive steal in that draft, and when he's healthy, he's one of the best young quarterbacks in the game. Most likely, neither his supporters nor his detractors are fully correct. Purdy honestly lies somewhere between their assessments. There's no denying that the 49ers quarterback has talent. Heck, in 2023, his first full year as a starter, he surpassed 4,000 passing yards with 31 touchdowns, leading San Francisco to a 12-4 record and a trip to Super Bowl 58, which ultimately was a loss to the Kansas City Chiefs. It seems that the issues related to Purdy over the last 2 seasons have all been injury-related, both to him and several other key players. In fact, injuries to other key players might have been just too much for the Niners to overcome in the 2025 playoffs. But you know, something tells me that the stars will align and Brock Purdy will win the Super Bowl. Won't Patrick Mahomes, Kansas City Chiefs. Here comes what might be the most controversial quarterback to make our list. But hey, keep an open mind and take an honest look at what is happening in Kansas City. Was 2025's 6-11 record an aberration and result of Mahomes' injury, or was it the beginning of the end for the Chiefs' dynasty? Andy Reid is entering his 14th season as head coach in KC after 14 seasons with the Eagles. At 68 years of age, with 3 Super Bowl titles, 279 career wins, and a future Hall of Fame induction, it's fair to ask just how much longer he's gonna stick around. The Chiefs' leading receiver the last 4 seasons, T.E. Travis Kelce, will be 37 during the 2026 season, and honestly he's probably heading into his last season. The WR room has never really recovered from losing Tyreek Hill, and I don't think it really scares anybody. The cracks in the Chiefs are there, which now brings us to Mahomes. The soon-to-be 31-year-old quarterback is attempting to come back from a significant injury, rehabbing from surgery to repair a torn ACL and MCL. Doubt remains as to whether or not Mahomes will be able to return in time to start Week 1 of the 2026 season. Even if he does, just how effective will he be as he continues to recover? Mahomes has won 3 Super Bowls and has been the face of the NFL for like the last 8 years. His time may have just passed, but that doesn't change everything that he's accomplished. Will Bo Nix, Denver Broncos. Bo Nix was the 12th overall pick by Denver in the 2024 NFL Draft and was named the starting quarterback for that season. As a rookie, Nix threw for 3,775 yards with 29 touchdowns on the way to finishing third in the voting for AP Offensive Rookie of the Year. The 2025 season saw Nix take a huge step forward, as he finished with over 3,900 yards and 25 touchdowns, leading the Broncos to a 14-3 record and a trip to the AFC Conference Championship game. While they lost that game to the Patriots, it's fair to ask if the result would have been similar if Nix didn't miss the game with the broken ankle that he suffered in the team's victory over the Bills. Nix is expected to be ready to go for the start of 2026, so barring any setbacks, expectations for this season will be high for the young quarterback. The Broncos front office had a busy and successful offseason in primarily keeping the 2025 team intact, with one notable exception. Denver was able to go out and acquire wide receiver Jalen Waddle from Miami for draft picks. Waddle brings 3 1,000-yard receiving seasons to a receiving room that already includes Courtland Sutton and Marvin Mims Jr. Nix is in a great spot to win not one, but multiple Super Bowls. Won't Cleveland Browns just all the quarterbacks there? If it seems like, I don't know, we pick on the Browns a lot, well, yeah, it's because we do, and they deserve it. They're the Browns. The Cleveland Browns might be the worst run franchise in the NFL, if not in North American pro sports. Since returning to the NFL in 1999, the Browns have had 4 winning seasons. That is not a typo. 4 winning seasons in the last 27 years, which honestly makes selecting Cleveland for this list not only appropriate, but almost like shooting fish in a barrel. We know the Browns as a team will not win a Super Bowl anytime soon. So we're not only including the 3 current quarterbacks on the Cleveland roster, no, we're also including any and all quarterbacks that suit up for them for the next decade. Look, the Browns don't even know who their starting quarterback is going to be in 2026, and let's be honest, none of them provide any level of comfort for your fans. Deshaun Watson? He hasn't played a full season since 2020 and has only played in 19 games over the last 5 years. Then we got Shedeur Sanders, a second-year player who was not exactly awe-inspiring in his rookie year. After those two, what, Dylan Gabriel and Taylor Green? Yeah, forget the Super Bowl. The real question should be if any of the Browns quarterbacks will have a winning season in the next decade. But hey, what quarterback do you think will win a Super Bowl within the next 5 years? What quarterback do you know won't win one in the next 5? Let us know in the comment section below. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, then clicking the like button helps us out a ton. And you know, we really appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, then subscribing is a great idea, because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.